Welcome back to the channel, y'all. Today we're going to cover a topic that I've been wanting to talk about, and that's the different types of genjutsu in Naruto. Specifically, the difference between a conventional genjutsu that happens in the opponent's mind and an illusion that takes place in real time. Many people regard these things as the same, but I have concrete evidence and proof that they are vastly different in application and execution. So in this video, we'll be looking at and breaking down what genjutsu is, the different types and applications of those genjutsu, and why they are fundamentally different. So let's start with what Jiraiya has to say about genjutsu and see if it aligns with what we actually see happening. Jiraiya says to Naruto, genjutsu is something that works on your opponent's 5 senses to control the chakra flowing through and linking their cranial nerves. If you're caught in a genjutsu, now keep that phrase in mind because it's very important. If you're caught in a genjutsu, you must try your best to stop your chakra flow. While in genjutsu, the chakra in your head is being controlled by your opponent. If you use more power to disrupt your chakra flow, you can cancel the genjutsu. He then goes on to say, as another way to cancel it, someone must be touching your body and placing their chakra into yours to disrupt the flow. Now that we have a thorough explanation of genjutsu from a reliable source, let's start with the genjutsu that we see early on in the series and make our way to the end of series ones. When Kakashi is first breaking down the ninja combat styles, Sakura has the privilege of being the one he uses genjutsu on. He makes a visual illusion of Sasuke bloody and covered in wounds. Now the psychological damage of seeing Sasuke like that is enough to put her out of the fight, but in every version and translation, Kakashi says something along the lines of Sakura fell for that genjutsu. This tells us that there are genjutsu you can in fact not fall for, like the ones Jiraiya was talking about that you get caught in, and that the genjutsu Kakashi was using can be seen through with some rational method. Keep that in mind. The second time we see an illusion casted is when Team 7 has to make their way to the 3rd floor of the Chunin exams room. We find out Izumo and Katetsu have disguised themselves and casted an illusion to make the 2nd floor look like the 3rd floor. The first thing Sasuke says, and this is across all versions and translations, is for them to drop the genjutsu surrounding the area, not to stop casting genjutsu on everyone there. This tells us that it's a visual illusion only and one that you can fall for, not to be mistaken with a mental attack or a genjutsu you're caught in. And how do we know for certain this is only a visual illusion? Well, aside from Sasuke saying it's an illusion surrounding the area, to overcome this genjutsu, none of them have to do the required methods Jiraiya mentioned for stopping genjutsu. It only took for them to realize they were on the same floor they walked up and the numbers did not match for them to realize it was an illusion. And before you guys say this is before they were actually taught about genjutsu by Jiraiya so they wouldn't have any way of knowing how to get out of it, let me remind you, number one, according to Sasuke right here, Sakura does have the know-how of genjutsu, plus Sakura and Shikamaru did the exact same method Jiraiya talked about to stop Kabuto's feather illusion genjutsu. So we know for certain this isn't an attack on their chakra. Before we move on to the second type of genjutsu, let's take a look at the one that occurs in the Force of Death. During the latter stages of the Force of Death, Team 7 plus Kabuto is set upon by some rain ninja who have placed a wide genjutsu over the area. In fact, the genjutsu is so good, Team 7 plus Kabuto are essentially tired out from going in circles all day. Shortly after they discover this deception, another genjutsu starts happening and multiple black figures start sprouting up out of the trees. Now, due to the Sharingan, Sasuke does in fact figure out they are seeing illusions and this is a genjutsu, but that's it. Sakura does not attempt to disrupt her own chakra flow. Sasuke has a Sharingan active yet never makes a comment about anyone else's chakra looking unstable due to the influence of genjutsu. In fact, they overcome this by outsmarting the illusion casters. We've yet to see these type of illusions be resisted, stopped, or negated. Quite to the contrary, actually, the common theme for this type of genjutsu is that it can be overcome with some critical thinking skills and attention to detail. Not one person has shown the ability to dispel another person's illusions or show any resistance to seeing an illusion. These are strictly intellectual feats in cases of, metaphorically, outwitting the devil. Now, let's take a look at the second type of genjutsu. There are many to pick from, but I'll choose the 3 that encapsulate my point and maybe touch on a few others. Starting off, we have Kurenai's genjutsu, Tree Binding Death, which she uses on Itachi and Kasami. It allows for her to trap and immobilize her opponent to a tree, which she would then come out of and kill with a kunai. Now, from the events surrounding this, we can tell straight away that this is a mental attack and would fall into the category of genjutsu you're caught in. But how can we know for certain Itachi and Kasami aren't just seeing an illusion in real time? Well, for a few reasons. Number one, as we'll see in more examples, the time passage for a mental genjutsu is very different than an illusion happening in real time. Here we can see Kurenai and Itachi have an entire conversation when in actuality, little to no time has passed in the world around them. Mind you guys, Kisame was trapped in this as well and still managed to not get tagged by Asuma. So this would tell us that the time it took for Itachi to reverse the Genjutsu and have a complete conversation with Kurenai was less than even a second in the real world. I mean, I doubt Asuma would miss an opportunity to attack if he had one. The second sign is the victim and the Genjutsu caster will usually both be standing still. Now this can be for one of two reasons: to fight for control in the Genjutsu like how we saw with Kurenai and Itachi, or because the Genjutsu carried out hasn't been fully completed. Now let's take a look at Itachi's Tsukuyomi. This is another mental attack that gives him complete control of the Genjutsu his opponent is experiencing. We even see here that Itachi can control how long an opponent experiences time within the Genjutsu, as he subjects Kakashi to 72 hours of constant torture. And again, the telltale signs of it being a mental attack are present. Both characters are standing still due to the time difference when participating in a Genjutsu, and little to no time has passed in the real world as stated by Asuma. The third sign I want to put in is that these mental attacks are just that, attacks. They can take a toll on the victims of them. Now the next series of Genjutsu we're going to cover perfectly covers all bases of this conversation. In the opening battle between Sasuke and Itachi, we see the brothers of the Uchiha are having somewhat of a Genjutsu battle, with Sasuke killing Itachi twice but being no closer to the truth than when he first arrived. What's interesting and important about this though is that every move Sasuke is making is in Itachi's masterfully layered Genjutsu. The actions Sasuke takes are in direct response to whatever Itachi wants him to see. And despite Sasuke's claims of being able to see through Genjutsu, he failed to do so in every instance of this battle. We see Zetsu comment about how the two of them have just been standing there for a while, so we already have confirmation this is a mental Genjutsu, i.e. when you get caught in and not when you fall for. In fact, Itachi is so damn good, he's using illusions whilst talking to Sasuke to accentuate the point about Sasuke being his new light. Then we fast forward to Itachi using the Tsukuyomi, and again we start to see the telltale signs that this is a mental attack. Sasuke is somewhat visibly fatigued from the experience. Both Genjutsu participants are standing still, and practically no time has passed in the real world, again confirmed by a comment from Zetsu. So by now, you should understand the differences in these types of Genjutsu in respects to their applications and executions. The illusions that take place in real time, i.e. Genjutsu you can fall for, are in fact happening in real time. As far as the series is concerned, there's been no feats of resisting, seeing through, stopping, or negating someone else's illusions. The best way to deal with any real-time illusion is to find inconsistencies in reality and proceed accordingly. This branch of Genjutsu does not affect your chakra like how Jiraiya said, but it does in fact work on your senses, primarily sight. And there are countless examples we could point to, like Sakura not stopping the force of death illusions, no one stopping the illusion on the second floor of the Chunin exams, none of the Chunin and Jonin class ninja dispelling the mass illusion of the giant clam in the 4th Great Shinobi War. So yeah, illusions haven't been shown to be countered on any level, to be quite honest with you. Now for the mental attacks, i.e. Genjutsu you're caught in, these align with what Jiraiya was talking about, taking control of the chakra in an opponent's head to make them experience all types of things. These Genjutsu are less sneaky and usually overt in their execution. These Genjutsu don't focus on tricking you because if you can't get out of the Genjutsu, there's no point in knowing you're in one. These Genjutsu operate within a different time than the real world, and usually both opponents will be standing still. When done correctly, they can cause complete paralysis, like in the case of Orochimaru versus Itachi, Jiraiya versus the Paths of Pain, and Tayuya versus Shikamaru. These mental attacks can cause fatigue and even extreme fatigue, but this is mainly only seen with Itachi. Now, the clear examples we have of people overcoming these types of Genjutsu are when Shikamaru broke his finger, thus disrupting his chakra to escape Tayuya's demonic flute. When Lady Chiyo and Sakura funneled their chakra into Naruto to get him out of Itachi's finger Genjutsu. And when Sakura and the fake sleeping Shikamaru dispelled Kabuto's feather illusion jutsu. If you have any questions, disagreements, or concerns, please do not hesitate to comment. I'm your host Abstract, and this is the Abstract section.